Okay, we are going to reconvene, and we are going to move on with item 5, a report regarding the city's billboard sign display policy and 2020 calendar.
Yes, Mayor Franco and members of the City Council, on October 7th, 2019, the City Council approved a revision of our billboard policy for Laura Whitson to include the city events and also nonprofit events. And a lottery was set up so that people, organizations could apply. However, with all the applications received, there was no duplications on each month. So we thought we'd just do a staff report and let you know that in March, First Baptist Church has the Easter egg hunt, May, Chamber of Commerce with the rib cook-off, July, the church again for Focus 2020 Kids Summer Program. September will be the car show, Chamber of Commerce. October, Second Chance Animal Shelter, the Tohono concert. November, First Baptist Church Christmas Party and Parade. And December, Chamber of Commerce Christmas Parade Santa Arrival. This is our first year. The applications for 2021 will be due in October this year. So I think as time grows, we put this on Facebook, got the word out, and I think next year you'll see a bigger increase now, kind of be in the system. So
Or you'll have to do a lottery, right?
yeah,
But, okay.
Hopefully it stays this way, where we don't have to be shifting.
yeah. Everybody's. I talked to the church. They're very happy with the Aston Chamber. And just the FYI, I did verify all 3 organizations are current in their nonprofit status. So that's a priority.
Can you still apply for the missing months?
You
The
know,
there's a
February,
couple
April,
months.
June, and August?
I think we could, as long as they fall under a nonprofit, and the deadline did pass, so we would follow the lottery, but I think there'd be some, after the fact, no one else has applied.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say the footnote, the organization that I would like to say I can represent, we've decided to opt out and let the organizations that truly do have, we have say, but we would like for other organizations to have that access. And I really like the fact that we kind of came to an agreement, and hopefully we could just streamline it, not have and just give it to everybody, so we have no lottery.
So, Mike, these organizations are here, they're locked in for this year.
Correct.
Because they hit the deadline. So anything after the fact for the open months, or if somebody comes in July and says, I want to do something, they just missed the application and have to apply next year.
They could, or we could accept them as their nonprofit, I guess. It's kind of, the policy says you have to have it in by the deadline.
Yeah, well, I mean, if somebody already has
But
July
what if they
issued,
didn't
and
apply
then
for that
somebody
month?
comes in
Somebody comes in, no, they're going to be.
after the fact,
You can
After the
still do
fact,
it.
no, they have to wait till next year.
okay.
Yeah, it was posted, they
Yeah, all right,
posted it.
just one.
It's too late.
Sorry, so
Yeah.
what, so the position is April, June, and August, they're closed to now? You just won't have it? You won't have a non-chamber organization getting their ad on in those months?
Technically, if you follow the policy, then no, we wouldn't.
Okay. If you continue to have fewer applicants than months, how are you going to address that? Just get the
Probably
word out a little more,
Try to
like you
get the word
say?
out. I know I had one church said they didn't want to do it this year because they averaged 2,000 people, but they'd be interested next year in a new event. I think more people read Facebook. Once they start seeing the ads this year come up, I think that'll raise a question when they're going to go there and see they're going to see, the Baptist church, or they might go in October, see Second Chance, and they're going to say, how'd that get up? And
Well, yeah, I
some
think
of-
that was the point, right? I mean, the point was that kind of the chamber had the monopoly on, they were the only other organization in the city that could put events on the board, and this opened it up to other nonprofits, which is a good thing. It's a nice thing for the other nonprofits in the
Yeah,
city.
I think word will spread next year.
Yeah.
But just to remember, the applications will be
Nice.
due October this year, so the council will have their lottery in November, so that we could do January through December. The reason we were delayed this year is because the approval from council came in October, so I had to give them a few months to get to spread the word.
Okay.
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
just quickly, what about like the city events, like the July 4th?
Yeah, those will be up.
So those will be automatic?
The
Okay.
city events, anything the city sponsors, when you do your community farms, those type of events will automatically go up.
Okay.
Okay, does,
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
does anyone from the public wish to comment on Mr. Kirshner's report? Okay, with that, item 6. Consideration of Measure C Transit-Oriented Development Cycle 8 Program Housing Infill Incentive Program Grant Application. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council.
The city has the opportunity to apply for a grant through the Fresno County Council of Governments for transit-oriented development projects. There's a fund of about $990,000. It's a competitive grant process that we would like to apply for funds for. The city looked at different ways that, different projects that we might be able to apply for. And one of the projects, the project that we feel may be most competitive actually, is a private development of 20 homes on 20 apartment units, an apartment complex of 20 units. And that is coming forward through Dwight Nelson, and the plans for that project have been approved, but the development impact fees for that project are actually estimated around $300,000. So through this grant application process, we could, and other cities have done this in the past, apply for a grant to help offset some of those impact fees. The developer has indicated that those fees are of concern. They're their fees in making the project viable. And this would be one way for the city to pursue a way of assisting without using any precious general funds or waiving or reducing the fees, which also adversely impact the general fund. So we'd like to consider doing this. When we applied for these grant funds last year, and we did receive funding last year of about $200,000 to do a sidewalk type of improvement project associated with transit. And the feedback we received from COG, the scoring committee last year, was that they felt if we were going to come back this year to try and find a project that was associated with housing as well, because that's a big push in this. So while we did look at other projects such as a downtown development planning project was another thing we discussed. This one, because it is a project that has a housing component, we think would be more competitive. There is a strict scoring criteria, and it will be close. You have to meet a minimum scoring of about 70 points in order to even be considered. But we think if we work together with the applicant and our grant writer, we can address some of the areas of the criteria to maybe, be very competitive, to be competitive there. And would like to go ahead and submit that. But because it is involving a private development, we wanted to bring it to your attention and just make sure you have your support to pursue that and potentially help with this project in this way.
So, let me ask you, Teresa. Like you just stated, I want to clarify that the other projects that we have that may apply for this, or there aren't any, or that this seems the most competitive of all of them?
This seems the most competitive because of the tie to housing.
Okay. Good. All right. Any questions from council? Does anyone from the public wish to comment on this matter? Okay, with that,
Okay.
I'll bring it back.
I'll ask a question. So, is Townsend assisting this city with this? Because I know they helped last year, the grant writer.
Yes, they are assisting the city. We've had internal discussions with them and staff about this. And then, of course, we let the applicant know this was going to be on the agenda. Last week, we attended a workshop I did, and Townsend was also on the conversation. And the grant application is due on the 28th, so we did a quick staff report to get this before you, before the application is due. It's due next week.
So I know the TOD used to be just Fresno and Clovis, and then it opened up 2 years ago. And Kingsburg was the only small city that got it because no one else applied. And then last year, Reedley and Selma got the money, along with like Fresno and Clovis. And I think I remember the city was encouraged at that time, like you say, to tie it to residential development because that's the big push these days in Sacramento. But in terms of the transit component, what is the transit component? What's the nexus there?
So it does have to have an existing or planned, as in a transit plan, component. There is a bench for a bus stop there. Our transit system is not have a designated bus stops. You call, you may be at a location, and they will come get you. So there is, though, a bench there that indicates that a person could go sit there and get picked up there. So that is our nexus to the transit.
Okay.
And
And
pickup location.
That's,
And you have to have the density, the project has the proper density. Some of the areas that we'll have to work on are to see if there are any green components to the building process, maybe water saving measures, we'll have to, there's certain criteria that we know we'll meet and certain criteria we'll have to work on. The project gets extra points if it has affordability. This one does not have an affordability component, but there's enough other areas where we think we can get the points.
good.
And then in terms of the award of the grant process, if it is awarded, and hopefully it will be, that would go to the city, and then the city would just credit the developer with that amount for those development and impact fees.
That's correct. So the city would be the recipient, but that would go towards specifically those impact fees. And to be competitive, we would probably need to be in a range of 100,000 to 150,000 that we would be requesting. But we're working on determining that amount to be competitive.
Because I know last year was really close. I mean, it was-
Yes.
we were right on the
Somebody-
line, so hopefully they can
Yeah.
find a, you think the residential component might push this over, might
It's
get
going
some
to be
more points?
close. The density qualifies.
The
It
smaller
says-
cities are still at a real disadvantage with this, with the bigger ones, but at least with the residential component, that might help a bit.
The residential component was something they told us to look for, so, we're taking their advice. I think that should help.
One more question, Teresa. We know Towns is going to be involved, but how about Chriscom? Will they be involved in as well as partners to get this thing moving?
This is a grant deal, I think.
Since
know.
it's specifically grant writing, if we need some legislative assistance, we collaborate with both of them, but this one is very specifically
Just
grant
grants.
writing.
I know it's just grants,
Yeah,
but
no,
will they, how many?
good
There's no
question.
I'm trying to find a way find a work to help it and make it work, Because a lot of times, they might know somebody the other people don't know, Townsend, and Townsend might know somebody they know inside, the cooperation of, they might know somebody that knows somebody.
Yes, it's a
Because I know
scoring.
it's going to be competitive, it's competitive, but when they look at these applications,
It's a scoring committee of a regional scoring committee, so it's not a statewide scoring committee. It is through the regional COG.
Oh,
So there'll be
okay.
somebody
So
from
it's
Fresno,
from the-
somebody from some cities, some other cities.
that's what I mean. Because a
But
lot
we
of
can
times-
certainly mention it, so
Yeah.
if they have any insight, they can share.
Just, word of thought, you know what I mean?
Thank
So
you.
what they were saying last year, I think, is that they were just trying to get it over that 70. Just
Yeah.
trying to justify getting over to
Yes.
70, and we got a really low score from the big city, but we got good scores from the other ones. So hopefully we could get good scores from everybody this year by linking that residential.
Well,
Yeah,
Hopefully that can help.
yep. I think it's a good cause, so.
okay.
So, I'll need a.
I'm going to make a motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Your motion is?
To recommend, do
For.
you want to say it? You want to say it?
All right. They consider and measure and see development cycle 8 program housing infill initiative program grant application.
For the project so aforementioned. I don't know if I could say the
Okay.
project or not, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councilmember Avalos?
Aye.
Councilmember Robertson?
Aye.
Councilmember Trujillo?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Guerra?
Aye.
Mayor Franco?
Aye. Okay. Departmental reports, city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of council. I think I shared with you that we have hired an economic development specialist, and that person will be starting on March 2nd. Her name is Tracy Tosta, and she is coming to us from the Fresno County Economic Development Corporation, the EDC. So we look forward to having that position filled, and we are very close with working on the police chief and the final parts of background check, as well as moving forward still on our community development director. So hope to have official announcement here very soon. Also, speaking of Chriscom that was mentioned earlier, Chriscom did meet with Assemblyman Arambula's office, and The Assemblyman did share that he would be, it would be in our best interest to be aligning his support for any of our funding requests along with Senator Hurtado's. And as you know, we submitted some forms to Senator Hurtado for what we would like her to advocate for on our behalf. So I just wanted to share with you that update from CRISCOM. Senator Hurtado, we've been told by CRISCOM, should be making a decision about what she will be submitting to the state budget sometime this week. So they have been in contact with us to keep us up to date on that. Thank you.
City Attorney?
No reports, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Finance Department?
Just a quick update. While I was at the high-speed rail meeting today, I did inquire with our contract. They said we're about 2 weeks out, so hopefully we should be able to get that fully funded and move forward. 2 weeks is what they told me.
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Public Works?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, real quick from Public Works. Ringo Playground, the structure's incomplete. We finished all the concrete work today, which is repair of sidewalks, new pads for benches, ADA accessible ramp in and out of the playground. We've updated all the lighting in the park, existing lighting in the park to LED. We're going to be installing some new lighting for the actual playground to light it up at night. Tomorrow, we're installing our weed barrier, and the fall protection material will arrive tomorrow afternoon and Thursday. And that will be complete. Me and Mike are setting up our final inspection. And then I'll be working with City Clerk Reyna to have a little ceremony ribbon cutting. So I hope to see y'all there. That's it from Public Works. Thank you.
Okay. Fire Department?
And just a quick update on the training center move. If you've been out by City Yard, you've seen some movement out there. And I really want to thank Shane and his staff for getting that dirt moved out of the way. We had been operating all this time on the presumption that that would be moved and taken away. Once we started looking into costs, we found out that it would cost us over $100,000 to have that done. So Shane and his staff volunteered to just move it, get it out of the way, and it'll be slowly removed over a long period of time, a little bit each week. Shane and his staff will be slowly loading it up, and it'll be taken away at no cost. So thank you to Shane, his staff. They literally saved the city over $100,000 and allowed us to move forward with the project.
Right.
We do have quotes out now, updated quotes to contractors to do the site prep work. The original quotes did include, some of that dirt removal. Now that we don't need that, we've got other quotes out to do site prep. And once we have that, hopefully by next council meeting, we'll bring a full report for council approval to start work on the project.
All right, good job. Good job, Shane. Police Department?
Just have one small thing. Our vehicle that is replacing a totaled vehicle we had from several months back should be being completed over the next 2 weeks, so we should see it back in service. Our vehicle was struck by a DUI driver, and so we've worked through that insurance process, so we should have that vehicle back in service, like I said, in the next couple weeks.
Chief, the homicide that we recently had, is that still pending investigation? Is there a timeline on that, or,
The one,
a couple weeks ago?
yeah, we have some leads we're working on. So it's moving in a positive direction, but that's about all I'm able to disclose at this time.
Okay, thank you. Recreation Department?
Just an update, they had the events over at the Art Center for the Congressman Cox. A little less than 160 people actually attended, so just to give you enough.
Wow.
I've been keeping track of it tonight, so
Pretty good turnout.
real good turnout.
Yeah. Okay, with that, we'll move over to council reports. Councilman Ravalos?
Oh, okay. I just want to make a comment. First, Shane, thank you for your thinking outside the box, getting that dirt moved. Tell you boys, thank you. And also, I always thank the city workers that work for the city. Because without you guys, nothing gets done in the city. All the way down from management, all the way down, trust me. and I thank them very much. The other issue too is, I'm looking at a cleanup on the other side of town in the, I want to say the old side of town. Some people call it the barrio, but I'm looking for getting rid of some refrigerators, couches. I just wonder if, Teresa, if we can reach out to Waste Management and maybe develop a cleanup day for that area. Maybe we can contact maybe the Boy Scouts from the Latter-day Saints. They're willing to, I haven't contacted them, but I'm sure they could help out. And I'm sure some citizens will help out. I'm not sure about the refrigerators, if there's any gas in those refrigerators, or they're already,
That's the key.
there's
Freon in
Are
there.
they Freon from
They won't-
Freon?
Waste Management won't
Are they,
take 'em.
you guys been through the alleys. They look like they've been,
Yeah.
Some probably have some out, and I mean, they're free on charge though.
oh, okay. How can we,
I believe they charge for those when you drop.
I don't think Waste Management will take
They
them,
won't
right? If they have
take 'em.
Freon, you gotta, somebody to haul it.
Yeah.
because I know they'll take, as long as,
If it doesn't,
You
if
pay.
we
They don't have
had one
Freon,
behind
they don't
our
have
building
Freon.
and they wouldn't
Yeah,
take
they
it.
wouldn't take it.
Yeah,
They
we
won't
had,
take it.
we had to get somebody to take
They'll
it.
take it if you pay them for them to.
I wonder,
deposit it.
I wonder if we
Yeah.
could,
Freon, we had to hire somebody.
Yeah,
to-
we had to hire someone.
hmm.
Yeah, because the Freon will leak out when they crush it.
Yeah.
It's a pollutant. Yeah.
There's probably no Freon in some of those refrigerators, but how do we know? That's the other issue.
I mean, you
But
could
as far as the
guarantee-
couches and the stoves and stuff like that, we can probably have those removed in the area.
Bed
There's a,
Springs.
yeah, so since we're talking about Operation Clean Zone, I think we should tack that area. Don't forget that area, because when I drive in that area, I see the refrigerator mounting up and another couch, and not to meet a mattress as well. A mattress,
About the alleys.
Yeah, the alleys, yeah. And the reason why I'm telling you guys, because when a trash guy goes through the alleys, he's either gonna, I don't want him to destroy the truck or damage his truck in any way. We gotta find a way to kind of, because there's an old saying, man, if you clean the place up, it's good. It's next to godliness, but it's good. It makes people feel good, it does. And I think we should never neglect areas like that, because that was, back in the days, that was the town itself when it started. And I believe that, hey, never forget the people that lived there, They're still on planet Earth. We gotta help them. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. John?
Well, first I'd like to, I'm happy I'm back. I've had a pretty busy last 2 months. The month of January, I went to Indio and represented the City of Selma at a conference called CASA. It was an exciting moment because of the fact that the City of Kingsburg Mayor, Michelle Roman, represented a slideshow that presented Selma, and it was actually 90% of Selma's youth. And Selma was represented very well at that conference. Every leader was asking what we were doing for waste SKF, and we have students that are SKF working. And I'd like to commend Michelle, Yvette Montijo. They're the ones that actually came out on that slideshow. It was a really good show. I was actually blown away. So I want you guys to know that Selma was represented very well at CASA. SKF did a really good job. I also learned a lot of things from them. That was the month of January. In the month of February, I attended what's called World of Concrete for my company, National Cement. Every nation builder is there, and I was able to get a lot of insights of what's going to occur for the state of California. I just want to thank you guys that I was able to go and come back and be represented, through the conference calls. And thank you, my clerk, my special person that helped me. So aside of that, thank you guys, okay?
Yeah. Councilman Robertson?
So I read the paper, that we were talking about the discount rate, how it's important. When the discount rate is higher, the city has to, put more money in if the stocks don't hit that CalPERS invests in. But CalPERS has grown by $27 billion in the last 6 months. So it looks like it's paying off for CalPERS to starting to invest more in the private equity funds. They used to invest almost nothing, and now they invest 8%. You don't want them to bet the store on it, but it's a positive payoff so far, and it leaves the city in a better position. So the employees and the city don't have to contribute so much when when the discount rate is actually ends up lower. It's getting higher, and that's a good thing. I want to thank Mike Kirschner for getting back to me on that rental agreement. You didn't forget about it. You dug. Thank you for that. And I did see that it was a temporary rental for the Iglesia Antioquia, $800 a month, so they did have a bona fide lease. The city put in a air conditioning system for them for $5,000, so kept them comfortable, and, they were able to do their church services until they found their new location there. So thanks for tying that in. I've been hearing some things about the downtown business district, and some we were talking about habitational and commercial. It's my opinion that one of the buildings in the downtown being turned into a homeless camp would not be the best location for the city. It may not happen. Our city doesn't judge, we help. But we also have property owners and business owners that need to be able to conduct business and not have a worry of getting broken into if some of these places are converted into these locations. So I'll leave that vague right now because it's just a potential. But again, I think the business district needs to stay the business district. Can we start getting updates on code enforcement again? I know we used to get those, like where they're going, what they're looking at, what the citations are being issued. I know you can't put individual names, we don't want to see that, but what they're doing,
Yeah.
where they're going
On the
around. Now that we have a
calls they've
second
gotten.
code enforcement officer, I really think the city shines, that when when there's cleanliness, when there's, the blight. I know I had contacted code enforcement about a particular property right down the street from here, and it's been cleaned up, and it's looking much better, and I appreciate that. It would be nice to see where other areas that they're focusing on. Finally, I attended a listening session and the last Selma Unified School District Board meeting, the last 2 weeks. So I just want to say thank you to all the Selma Unified people, the employees who came to me and said, can you ask these questions? Can you find out what's going on? Because it's in a really bad situation right now. I will keep your information confidential. I will keep asking questions. I would resume my request of the school board to have a joint meeting with the city council now more than ever, because here we are, the district is now forced to have layoffs and cut expenses. And I would invite anyone who's interested in the future of our school district to attend the next school board meeting next week on February 25th. The fortunes of the school district and the city are connected. We share the same lane and must be aware of what is happening to make sure our city is protected. A financially solvent and well-run school district is good for our city. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Okay. I also attended the listening session at the school district. It was shocking and very sad to see what is happening to our school district, especially because I have a 13-year-old that attends the school districts here in Selma. This is why we should always be cautious and not overspend taxpayers' money. We should always ask questions. We should always discuss problems in order to solve them. We owe it to the citizens of Selma to always be transparent. So with that, the citizens have asked me, how much have we spent in the police station to date? I requested the information from Isaac last council meeting, and he sent the entire council a balance sheet. And thank you for that, Isaac. So far, the cost we've spent on the police station is $3,986,122.78, and 12 days behind schedule. I also attended a meeting for the League of Cities regarding the 2020 census. and the importance of everyone completing the census. When you respond to the census, you will help the community get fair share of more than $675 billion per year in the federal funds spent on schools, hospital, roads, public works, and other vital programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I also attended the League of City and actually sat next to Mayor Pro Tem Guerra, and that was very interesting. You know, Isaac, at that league, I talked to I can't remember her name, but a representative of White Green. Is that the outfit that we, about going on 2 years, we did a survey? NG, was that NG, right? Oh, didn't we do a survey on that? We paid them like $35,000 to do a survey?
We didn't pay him anything. The analysis is actually free. We have been talking to him again to reassess that project and where it's at and pick it back up. He has reached out again so that we can start having.
Yeah, because whatever happened to it, I don't recall it. If maybe I don't remember, I don't recall it being brought, the results being brought back.
The results haven't come back yet. What we're trying to do is look at the financing component. There is another conversation we're now trying to have again with some other funding source for a low-interest loan. So that's where we're currently at with the conversation.
Okay. And then I also had the pleasure on Saturday of going to Buford Joyce 100th birthday. He's our newest member of the Selma Century Club. Moved to Selma in 1941. Very great family there, had a great time. And he's probably the most active 100-year-old person I've ever seen. I mean, he walked around, he looked like he's only 75, and he's in great shape, so God bless him. He's had a blessed life. He's seen a lot. And then the other thing I was thinking of, I was talking with Pete Israelian a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about, naming things after people here in town, like a naming committee or that. And I was thinking, well, maybe we should look at forming like a ad hoc committee to coincide with the census to maybe there's something, future park, street, or an existing building they want to name after somebody. I just know you have to be careful. I think most things are done in naming it's somebody that's not living anymore, I think there's some type of guidelines you kind of keep, but I don't know. Maybe we ought to think about with the census, maybe having a public ad hoc committee, say they want to name a tree or something after members of the community. We don't want to run into this situation where we almost forgot about Mr. Shockley's, naming thing. And then finally, actually, this reminded me of League of City too. They're moving their meeting because of Easter break. So I remember asking to see if it'd be feasible if there's nothing that's time restrictive, that staff look into maybe canceling our Easter break meeting because it falls right on Easter recess in April or something like that. So if you could look into it and get back to us at next meeting.
Yes, and we have been looking at the calendar, and it looks like that we can make that clear, given, the advance notice. So, but
Okay.
at this point, I would say,
Aren't we canceling a meeting, though, in May if we're going to ICSC? So that would
We-
be two
we would-
meetings canceled in 2 months? I'm just bringing that up.
yeah, no,
Okay.
that
But-
is, we would need to also cancel a meeting in May,
Right.
or
Well,
we
if there's nothing
schedule
time
it.
restrictive, or time sensitive, or that's urgent, let's look into that. I'm willing to do that. I know there's a lot of people who travel for Easter. We canceled 2 meetings in December and January, and so as long as it's not holding city business back, I think we should look at it. So if you guys could just keep us abreast of that, I'd appreciate it. And with that, we'll move on to,
Consensus, though, wouldn't it? Would that be consensus? Whether we
Yeah.
would cancel the meetings among us 5? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
with
Pardon the
that,
interruption.
with that, we'll move on to oral communication. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council regarding any item not, sorry, I gotta put my glasses on. City council regarding any item which the council has jurisdiction. No action or discussion will be taken on any item not on the agenda. Issue raised will be referred to the city managers for review. Members of the public shall limit their remarks to 3 minutes. Okay, seeing none, a motion to adjourn? Thank you.